Hoiberg will launch the three. Oh, he hits!
Clobber to left field. Another double for Washington. This time it's Nick Kresnak.
But no doubt, 2-run, go-ahead homer in the seventh. The bat flip puts the exclamation mark on a comeback.
An RBI knock from Kresnak, who's had an incredible night. Sam Hoiberg, the son of the coach, to steal the bucket.
Welcome back to the sports section. Matthew Mounsey joined by our point guard, Sam Hoiberg. First episode of 2026. It's great to be back with you guys. Thanks for enduring our little holiday hiatus. Got to spend some time at home. All of us were kind of traveling around, and so made scheduling a little bit difficult, but we're back. This episode will come out Wednesday, January 7th, and just stay tuned on social media for updates on when the next episodes will come out. We'll get back to a schedule, but Sammy Hoyes is here, the point guard of the top 10, number 10, undefeated Nebraska Cornhuskers. How are we, Sammy?
Doing well. Nothing to complain about right now. It's been a fun ride, and just got to keep this thing rolling one game at a time, coming off of a big win versus Ohio State yesterday. It was, I think, a very good team. They have a lot of talented guys. They make tough shots. And winning on the road is never easy in the Big Ten. Starting 2-0 in that front is big time.
Yeah, your dad had a good quote about it. I think it was, what, boys win at home, men win on the road.
That's exactly it.
And before we dive into the last two games especially, something about you guys has really stood out to me recently, and I think that people kind of neglect it in these days of college sports with the transfer portal and everybody going in and out and everywhere and all the bullshit, but you guys are old, like really old. And I think, I mean, that's a massive contributor to your guys' success, at least from an outside perspective. Yeah, Rank's a seventh-year senior. You're a fifth-year senior. Jamarcus a senior. And Price is a junior, and he hasn't even really established himself necessarily as like a premier college basketball player outside of this year, and he's been tremendous. But how much of that experience have you guys leaned on?
Yeah, I mean, especially in games like that on the road, we are up early and things were kind of clicking, and I think we got a little fatigued there in the second half just because we came off a huge game against a physical Michigan State team, on Friday. So it was a quick turnaround. You go on the road, and then you can kind of lean on that experience in those situations because we've all been there before. We've all played in games. We've lost games like that in the past, and we've been able to take from our experiences and be able to translate that into wins this year. And you've seen it. We've won close a few times and one possession games. And I think that senior experience has been huge for that because we don't waver under pressure. We've been there before, and it doesn't feel new to any of us, and we're able to perform at a high level even if things aren't going well.
It's just been super fun to watch, man. This is obviously the best start in Nebraska basketball history, but you guys are in the top 10 for the first time since, 66, I think I saw? That's just outrageous. But I think it also speaks to that experience with your dad having his guys on the roster. Obviously, there were some down years there. You know, you don't see a lot of teams in college basketball choosing the development route, but seems to work from what you guys have been able to do.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at teams like a Purdue, for example, or Michigan State, they have guys that have been in the program and they're able to consistently be at the top. It's because they have guys that know what they're doing. They're not bringing in players every single year and redoing it to have to learn the system, because the more you can be in it, when you have good coaching and can get the system down, that's when you're really going to have success. And I think that's a big reason for ours this year. We know we're not the most talented on paper, and like playing a team like Ohio State, who is more talented than us if you're just looking at the stars and everything and where we were recruited, and just the fact that we've been able to keep guys and learn the system to perfect it, it just makes you all more successful. And you're seeing that this year, 15-0, and had some really big wins.
Did you know, by the way, that you guys were picked 14th in the preseason Big Ten poll?
Yeah, we did. And 2 years ago, I think it was a similar situation. We were like bottom 3, bottom 4 preseason, and ended up being third that year in the Big Ten. But that was definitely a bit of motivation, and those rankings don't really mean too much just because most of the time you have a brand new team, and there's so many new teams like that, but it is fun to kinda look back on those, and we're only halfway through. We've only played 4 Big Ten games, but right now it's definitely pretty funny to look back at that.
And let's not forget to everybody out there that Charlie Hoiberg is still undefeated on staff.
It's just that,
We're just putting it out there.
and if you count the exhibitions, he's 17-0.
Pretty sweet. You guys are still behind BYU in this week's rankings. They're at 9.
Yeah, I got a bone to pick about that BYU game, and I think BYU's really good. I really like their coaching and everything, but they took their guys out. They took DeBansa and Richie Saunders out with about a minute 30 left when we were up by 8, and these fans I was, like, a little bit upset 'cause, like, come on, like, you're doing this for there's some reason behind this. As soon as the game ended, I saw fans saying how they didn't even play their guys till the end. I was like, "Come on, we were up by 8 with a minute 30 left when you took them out." It's not like they won the game when they were in. And now what I'm seeing is BYU fans, because people are bringing it up, we're, like, ranked 1 behind them. They're like, "Oh, if only there was a game to show who's better." Um, there's BYU fans that are like, "Yeah, we didn't even play our starters in the second half of that game." I'm like, "This is exactly why he took those guys out, so they could have the excuse."
Hope you guys get to see him again. That'd be fun.
That would be fun.
I like the sports section hat, by the way. Got the merch.
I rock the merch. Buy your own.
Buy it. Buy it, everybody. On the link. It's everywhere. Everyone's rocking it. So I noticed last night in the Ohio State game, and I want to go back to the Michigan State game in a second, but you guys showed a good amount of that 1-3-1 zone. I don't think we've really seen it like that to that extent all season. Tell me about the zone, I guess. What was the mindset? What does it look like?
Yeah, we ran it a couple times out of timeout. We didn't run it a ton. Definitely the most all year. So I could see why people thought we ran it quite a bit, but we really only ran it 2 or 3 times, I think. But yeah, it's just a different look coming out of timeouts. A lot of times coaches run good plays, and if you throw in a different defense at them, then it will get them out of that play and kind of confuse them. And I think we had some good defensive possessions. And then I think we ran at the end of the first half, forced them into a bad shot. And yeah, I mean, it's just a good kind of secondary special teams defense you have that we're not going to be running the whole game, but just to have in certain situations, just to get them out of their rhythm, it's really an important thing to have. And it's something we've worked on for a while. We just haven't really shown it much early on, and probably something you'll see more of here on out.
I love watching you at the top of that zone. It's pretty fun just kind of seeing you guys fly around where you can just really go for the ball. In your guys' 1-3-1, does the bottom guy have to run the whole baseline?
Yeah, typically the bottom guy is running baseline to baseline. And yeah, being at the top is fun. Normally you have like a really lengthy guy at the top with long arms to disrupt, but since I get a lot of deflections, they put me up there just because I have good activity. And when we go back to man, then I'm normally near a guard too. So that's part of that reason. But yeah, I mean, it's a good thing to have, and it can really mess you up if you don't expect it. And Mobley hit a really tough shot that barely rolled in at the end of the game to, I think, cut it to maybe 5 or something. But yeah, I mean, we made him take a tough shot. It was heavily contested, and I think it has worked pretty well for us.
So let's talk about that Michigan State game. Some are saying the biggest home win in Nebraska history,
Yeah, I
potentially.
mean, that game, it's just uncharted waters for Nebraska basketball to be playing against the top 10 team as a top 15 team. Like, that's why it was hyped up so much and such a big game. And it was probably the best crowd atmosphere I've ever been a part of. Maybe that Purdue game that we won a couple of years ago. But I mean, during the free throw, and then when they were reviewing the foul call on Fears that they overturned and called it on Frager, that was like when the fans were booing, my ears were ringing during that. Like, that was one of the loudest I've ever heard PBA as well. And it's just so nice that our fans are seeing our success and really being a part of it now. And It's going to be a lot of fun the rest of the way at home games.
Yeah, the atmosphere looked insane, and I'm looking at the box score, by the way. Attendance was 14,841. That's pretty packed for a college hoops game if you're unfamiliar. Most college hoops arenas only sit about 10,000. But I mean, you guys are selling out every game. The environment looked incredible, and it was those free throws at the end. They had a chance to send it to overtime, and they missed the first, intentionally missed the second, had the lane violation on the shooter on that. Isn't there a deal where it's like, it's free something? A lot of schools have it, but you'll get like the fans get something for free if there's 2 misses.
Yep, free Chick-fil-A sandwich.
Hell yeah.
So I think they got that. I don't know if the lane violation took that away. It shouldn't have. But yeah, that I literally in the huddle, like we just had a little huddle with the guys that were in the game right before we were walking to the free throw line. I said, he's gonna miss these. We're gonna get some chicken and we're gonna go home. And
Hell
that's
yeah.
exactly what happened. And it was glorious.
That's awesome. Hank leads you guys in that game as usual, 6 for 13 from the field. He had 19. You contributed on the defensive end, dished it out a little bit. But let's talk about your rebounding, dude. It was the New Hampshire game. You had 10, right? Career high, and then 9 last night. What's going on, dude? You're just crashing the glass all over the place.
Yeah, and I've had a good year rebounding. Always known as a good rebounder, and it helps when you have bigs that block out really well. Like, having rank back has allowed me to go kinda crash because a lot of times when you're a guard, the point guard or the shooting guard will get back on defense, so you don't have to worry about boxing out. So that's allowed me to kind of fly in there and grab those rebounds over the top, which is what I've gotten a lot of, and I've gotten some offensive rebounds too, which has helped that. Like, last night, they don't have any numbers up on they only have, like, the points. They don't have any rebounds or anything up on the screen, so I had no idea that I had 9 rebounds until the game was over. Um, but, yeah, I mean, that's just the thing. Like, that's what I try to do. I try to play harder than everyone and get those loose balls, and when you come up with enough of them, you're gonna get some rebounds, and, the one that I think was the biggest was Rank had missed actually a pretty easy layup, and he tipped it back out, and I kind of flew in between Mobley and Thornton and knocked it to Price, who had a 3 to go up by, I think, 8 maybe. That was to go up 8 or maybe, like, 5, but that was a huge play, and just making those hustle plays has allowed me to get the rebounds, and it's not like a mindset change or anything. It's just flying around and doing what I can do, taking advantage when I get the ball.
Tom Izzo called you his favorite player, I think. Did you see that?
That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I've talked about Tom Izzo a lot. I mean, we love him in this family. My dad and him are real close. Jack obviously played for him, and I got to know him a little bit. But yeah, just competing against him, they are so well coached. Obviously, he's one of the greatest coaches of all time. But yeah, hearing that from him is pretty special, and that's, I mean, one of the cooler things that I've heard about me in my whole career. Probably the coolest.
Yeah, it was pretty fun to see that on Twitter after the game. All of Twitter was really fun after that game.
But yeah.
But that was such a weird game, I think, compared to what you guys usually play. It was all defense from the start. Just, it seemed like you guys jumped on them on defense right away. I think they scored like 1 or 2 points in the first media, maybe. I think something like that. Maybe I'm remembering wrong, but you were matched up with Jeremy Fears a good amount, right?
Yep. Jamar started on him. I think they kind of like having me off ball because I know the rotation so well, but I did get some possessions on him. He's a hell of a passer, man.
Well, and you look at the numbers between both teams, they shot 17 for 50 from the field. You guys 18 of 57. Both teams under 35% from the field. And you did have a good amount of big threes, 13 for 37, kind of timely, but you guys are an offensive juggernaut. I would say you score about 90 a game, it seems like. What is that like going up against a top 10 team at home in a defensive battle where, you're playing really good defense, they're playing good defense, maybe all the shots aren't falling? How do you go like possession to possession on defense there?
Yeah, I mean, we knew they would be really hard to score on their top 10 efficiency, like the efficiency metrics defensively to have them in the top 10. And they scout really, really well. They were on top of our plays. We run a lot and just kind of took away some of the stuff that we get. And you have to expect that playing against a team like Michigan State. But yeah, we actually shot it okay from three. They just really took away the paint, and you just have to grind it out. And defensively, we did a really good job too. We forced them to have like 19 turnovers, I believe. Some of them were unforced, but a lot of them, I think we did a good job of putting them in tough situations and forcing them to make those turnovers. And, you see the chatter of people saying we got lucky because they didn't play well, but we didn't play great offensively either. And it just shows the toughness of this group to win in a dirty game against a team that has that, kind of ugly identity at times and is known to just grind you out, and being able to hang with them in that type of game just shows a lot about our squad.
So after last night, you are still second in the nation in assist to turnover ratio individually, which is pretty cool. But I had to look it up because I noticed last night, like right when it happened, you had a turnover. And I was like, what? How'd that happen? But anyway, yeah.
It happens, Mounsey. Occasionally. We'll keep it occasionally, but it does happen.
Yeah, I mean, what are you doing, dude? 58 assists to 10 turnovers? I mean,
gotta clean it up, man.
Gotta be better than that, right?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't listen to the coaches on that play. I drove in. I knew they tried to like take away gaps. I should have just hit the easy pass to Kale, and Cups took it away from me. But I think what I have 4 assists. 4-1 is solid, so I'll take that most games. But we got to keep it above that if we're gonna compete with Taman, who's at like a ridiculous like 8 or 9-1 right now.
I was about to mention that Taman Lipsey is dominating the country in that number. He has 65 assists to 9 turnovers. His ratio is 7.22. You're second in the country at 5.8.
Yeah, he's ridiculous. I actually played with Taman in AU growing up in like second grade. He's a year younger than me, so he was a first grader on our AU team, and he was our best player by far. But he's been a stud ever since he was young. He's from Ames. Super cool to see him doing what he's doing at Iowa State. But yeah, I mean, I'm gonna need him to have a uncharacteristic game if I'm gonna catch that.
Did you guys spend any time in Ames over Christmas?
We did. We went back. We went to San Antonio, visited Jack. Went to the Spurs game where they beat the Thunder. That was really fun.
Nice.
Then went to Ames. Got to see the whole family, so that was good.
That's awesome. Yeah. You guys had like a week off pretty much, didn't you?
I think we had the 22nd through the 25th fully off, and then we had late practice on the 26th.
I feel like you guys have had a great schedule this year, just like actual days wise. Like you've gotten good breaks when you've needed them.
Yeah, they definitely come at the right times, like for example, this one, but we also have had, I think, some tough schedules with like 3 games in a week. We had that Creighton, Wisconsin, Illinois week. That was a Sunday to Saturday. And then this past week we had 3 games, I believe, in about a week span. And I mean, it gets tough. I think, yeah, that was a Tuesday to Monday. So it does get tough when you have those 3 game weeks, but it just makes those breaks feel so much nicer. Like we have an off day today. We haven't had an off day in a little while. So I feel like the breaks have been just coming at the perfect times when you're getting a little bit exhausted mentally and physically.
And it's been fun to see you guys in these close games too. And you talked about how important home court is in the Big Ten. I see a bunch of videos about Rank talking about, how you guys can't lose at home, which makes a lot of sense. And it was so interesting to me because going into that Michigan State game, you're ranked number 13. You're playing the number 9 team in the nation. They're coming to your place and you're favored in that game, 1.5 point favorites. And then you go on the road against unranked Ohio State last night, 2 nights ago for those listening on Wednesday, and you're 2-point underdogs. I think that really speaks to how important it is to defend your home court. But, how have those road atmospheres been a test for you guys so far? Has it been like that much more challenging early?
Yeah, it's definitely a lot tougher just because you don't have the crowd on your side, and the crowd really does fuel your runs. And if you look at our 2 road games, Illinois and Ohio State, Illinois went on a 13-0 run going into half. We almost were fortunate that we had a halftime because it shut their momentum down a little bit. But the crowd really fuels that. And Ohio State took the lead on us. Fortunately, they didn't have students because there was no winter break, so it wasn't as loud as normal in that place. But they still had a pretty good crowd. And it is a lot harder to win on the road than I think people expect. Like, even if you are a ranked team, you can go on the road and be an underdog. If you look at that year 2 years ago, we were undefeated in the Big Ten at home, and we didn't get a road win until late February in the Big Ten. So that really shows you how difficult it is, because I think that was a really good team as well. And the fact that we've been able to get our first 2 against good teams just shows you a lot, again, about the character of this group. And like you said, men went on the road, and we got a bunch of grown men on the squad.
Definitely. The age, to say the least, you have the grown men. And I think that's why college sports are so great, too. I mean, look at the college football playoff and the first round home games. Just electric factories across the board. College sports fans are going to show out. And I mean, that Michigan State game you mentioned, you guys didn't have any students for that game either. But
Yeah.
place is packed, and, the fans that buy out the student section were the ones that, help with that miss at the end of the game.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that, how we didn't have students, and it's still probably the loudest I've heard PBA. So when we get them back, it's going to be an absolute electric factory. Fortunately, this weekend we go to Indiana, and they play the playoff game on Friday night, and then we play them at noon the next day. So they don't have students. I mean, a lot of them are going to be traveling to that game. So hopefully there's a little bit of a smaller crowd, make it less of a home court advantage. But either way, playing another good team on the road is going to be tough.
I didn't even think about that. That's going to be huge for you guys. I can't imagine that game will be sold out just because of the football game the night before. I'd imagine a ton of basketball season ticket holders are probably football season ticket holders going to the game.
Yeah, and they're in uncharted waters the same way we are. So you imagine us in a Final Four, how many people are going to be going to that game? Think about Indiana on the other side. They got a great fan base, and it's a different sport right now than usual for them, but I'm sure there's going to be a ton of people going to that game.
Speaking of, did you see our TCU quarterback, Josh Hoover, is going to Indiana?
I did. I heard rumblings about that a while ago. I won't give away who, but it seemed like it was known. And he's gonna be a top 5 pick, isn't he, Mounsey?
No, he's not. No, he can't. He led the country in interceptions this year.
Did he really?
Yeah, but he was also 5th in passing yards.
Nettie sees something, man.
Signetti's gonna have Hoover right. I'll tell you that. Also,
now, is there hard feelings with him doing that?
Against Josh Hoover?
Yeah.
No, not really. I'm not the biggest Hoover believer just because he can't take care of the football. And I'm also not a Sonny Dykes guy, really. So I don't know. I mean, I would have liked to see Hoover with the new offense this year because we have the UConn OC coming in, but I'm not really too broken up about it.
You guys are too emotional, man. Sonny took you to a national championship, how many? 3 years ago?
4 years ago, and I'm very appreciative.
Come on, man. You guys are going to be fine. I mean, it's TCU. You're not a powerhouse.
We got to be, though.
You got a taste of it.
9-win season, backup quarterback, beats USC in the Alamo Bowl. Pretty good year. Pretty good.
Not bad. Not bad at all.
Did you hear about the end of our fantasy league, by the way?
No, what happened?
I go into the playoffs as the 12 seed, as the last seeded team in the league. Finished with the 3rd most points, by the way. I know I've been saying that, but it's worth the mention. So go in, play Piazza week 1 of the Shit Bowl playoffs, last place playoffs. He beats me in a close one, I think. Maybe it wasn't that close, but I think my team scored 110, 120, something like that. So now I'm getting close there. I got to win one of the next 2. So I go and play our guy Joe in the next round, and my team lays an egg. Scored 80 points. Just horrible, horrible week. And so last week We play week 17. We don't play week 18 because team's sick, guys. So we go into week 17, and I'm playing Piazza again, who finished 11th in the regular season, and I just ran him out of the gym.
So you would have lost, right? If you you would have been the punishment.
It was for the league, yeah. And do you know what our punishment is?
Tell the viewers, I've heard of it.
Yeah. So it's bowling alley punishment. So basically, you go to a bowling alley, and you stay at the bowling alley until you bowl a 300. But every beer you drink or hot dog you eat takes 5 pins off of that 300 number, and every shot you take is 10 pins off of the 300 number. And so you play, like, you keep playing to try and hit the number. So if you take 5 shots, for example, your number's 250, and you still have to bowl a 250, which is outrageous.
So my question, does it carry over if, say, you, like, drink 5 beers, eat 5 hot dogs? Does that number, like, even if you don't get it that game, does it stay at that number, or does it reset to 300?
So the number carries over, but the pins don't, if that makes sense. So it's like, if you take, let's say you're like 2 hours in and you're 10 beers in and 5 let's say 10 beers, 10 hot dogs, I think that's 100 pins. So like, and you're 10 games in, like you would need a 200 on your 11th game.
Okay. Oh my goodness.
It's tough. It's really, really hard.
An underrated aspect, that's going to hurt the wallet too.
Oh, it is. But
That could
thankfully,
be a lot of bowling games.
Cole Piazza makes like $10 million a year. So
Oh, good for him.
he's fine. You know, he'll be okay. But he said that he's going to do the punishment on Valentine's Day.
Oh my God. He needs to live stream it.
He'll be live streaming it. If I lost, I was going to live stream it on here.
No way.
Yeah, but thankfully, my team scored like 180.
That's huge.
I would have won the championship if I played.
I'll speak on my fantasy league. Went into the playoffs, made the playoffs at 7-7. We go to the championship, face another 7-7 team. Brock Bowers goes on IR. My team lays a nasty egg. We scored like 75 points in the championship. I didn't even feel like I deserved to be there, but we were runner-ups. After the year we had, we made it very far.
I can't believe you went that far. Congratulations. I mean, you got second, I got second to last, very similar stories, but what a season.
Yeah, the boys turned it around.
Finished 9-8.
Ever since we got Sammy D, we took care of some business.
Hey, how about those Seahawks, though?
Yeah, what are they looking at now? I haven't looked at the playoff bracket.
The Seahawks are 14-3 as the 1 seed in the West.
Wow.
I actually went to the Thursday night game against the Rams at home. I flew back on Wednesday, I think, went to that home Thursday night game on Thursday where we were down 16 with 8 minutes left, I think. And they punt it to us. Rashid Shaheed takes it to the house. We get the 2-point conversion. They went 3 and out in like 45 seconds. And we march down the field, get the 2-point conversion, go to overtime. They score to start overtime. It was like a 50-yard bomb to Puka. And then we march it down on him again, get JSN for the touchdown. And then the third-string tight end, Eric Sorbert, had his first reception of the season. I think maybe second reception for the 2-point conversion in the win. It was probably the best football game I've ever been to. It was awesome. Place was
awesome.
It was rocking.
That's so sick.
And then we took care of the Niners on Saturday night for the 1 seed. So,
congrats. Do you think you guys got a chance?
I think we can do it. I really do.
Who are you most scared of?
The Rams.
Yeah.
I think the Rams are the best team in the NFL. But we just beat them at home, and they're going to have to come to our place if they want to do it. So, Sammy D's been playing really well. He had a really bad pick against the Rams, but then, had 3 touchdown drives to end the game. But I've said this before. My thing with Darnold is, like, we don't need Sammy D to be that good to win games. Our defense is just so good. I mean, the Niners were scoring like 5 touchdowns a week, and then they score 3 on us.
It's like the old Seahawks that won it all with Russell Wilson. Those defensive teams were insane. That was back when I really followed football.
That was the LOB.
The LLB?
The LOB, Legion of Boom.
Legion of Boom. Forgot you're from the area. You know all the acronyms.
All the stuff. But yeah, it was fun and looking forward to it. But do you know who won our league?
Was it John?
It was freaking John, dude.
John King. Knows ball. He was just in town this past week.
Shout out to our guy. I think I might have him come on here and just let him have a victory speech.
We need to get him on for a segment. Maybe a whole episode even. He deserves one.
I agree. And I thought that John was going to lose the league at one point. He had nobody. He was second to last in scoring in the regular season.
All right, just for viewers that don't know who John is, he's one of our best friends. He lived with Mounsey and Charlie the last couple of years. He's from Chicago, actually. We were friends in high school, but he was at least a huge Arizona Cardinals fan. His neighbor was, I think, in the front office. Huge football fan. And in a fantasy league, probably about 5 years ago or something, it was the first round. And the only player he cared about getting was Kyler Murray. This is when he was huge on the Kyler Murray hype train. And I think I had the pick right before him in the first round. And I took Kyler Murray
In the first round.
And then I got out of it. I got Devontae Adams and another stud. I don't remember exactly who it was, just for Kyler Murray. It was a genius play by me. Still didn't win the league, but sorry, John, if you remember that, if you're listening.
Just to trade fleece John, you took Kyler in the first.
It was a good move.
That's great. Well, and John got trade fleeced this year once, too. Like, I was talking shit about him during the regular season because he scored 59 points against me.
It's your champ.
Blame it on Colby Neal, everybody.
That's your champ.
I can't believe it. All right. Anyway, thankfully I didn't lose our fantasy football league, and I will not be going to a bowling alley for however long. Let's go back to you guys for a second. I want to cover last night a little bit more. Really exciting game. And you guys led the entire game pretty much. 35 minutes of lead time. They led for just 3.5 minutes. But this was the first game that I felt like both Price and Rank weren't really on. And they were both in double digits, a good game, but the shooting numbers, I guess, weren't really there for their touches, but your bench outscores theirs 22-0. And I feel like your dad has kind of found the core group of guys on the bench that he's been going to. It's been that 8-man rotation with Braden Frager, Jacobson, and Jared Garcia. Talk to me about that rotation and what you see from those bench guys and how they'll contribute in the Big Ten.
Yeah, I mean, I think the first thing is Braden Frager is just an absolute dog. He's so talented, and he can really score the ball. You saw him late in the game yesterday with the 2-and-1s. Like, those were the plays of the game. And he can score it at will. We saw it last year on scout team. He was really tough to shut off at times. And he didn't shoot it well yesterday, but he's still able to get to the rim. He's so athletic, and he's just improving every single game. And the main thing with him is just really being disciplined and like doing the schemes the way we want it to. And we have the leaders to be able to kind of teach him and allow him to have those learning moments. And like the Michigan State thing, that was a whole other thing with the fear situation. He's learned from that, and he came up huge yesterday. So he's going to be huge for us all year long. He's one of the best freshmen in the league, in my opinion, and I don't think that's really disputable right now. And then you got Kale, who's just so solid, like always making the right plays. He's so smart, and he knows our defense as well as anyone. And him being on the floor just allows us to be a better defensive team. And offensively, he knows the system the same way, and he can be in the right spots, make the right passes. He's not scoring a ton of points, but in kind of a similar way to me, he just does the winning things that don't necessarily show up in the box score. And I saw some stat where he plays more than 10 minutes in all of his seasons he's been here, we're undefeated. So he's always making winning plays. And then Jared is getting more comfortable in the system every single game. He missed a lot of reps in the offseason from injuries, and he's learning how to play in the system and how to do it right. And when he does, he's very effective for us. He's athletic and he's capable shooter, can get slashes and make plays defensively, and he's rebounded really well. So having those guys off the bench to pick us up when, maybe Rank and Price aren't playing well just shows our depth and the importance of it. And it's going to be carrying us to, I think, a lot of wins this season.
It's been fun to see, especially going to that bench depth. I forgot about that technical that you mentioned in the Michigan State game.
Yeah, I will put it out there. He did not know that Jeremy Fears had actually been shot before.
Oh, I missed that part of it.
Did you? Yeah. So Jeremy Fears was shot his freshman year of college and had a medical red shirt because of it.
Oh,
So that's really why it got kind of blown into the huge proportions that it did, is because of that situation. And people thought he was like referencing that. But Jeremy Fears is an amazing player, but he talks a lot of shit. And he was talking a lot of shit to Frager, and Frager was just getting him right back. And the thing that annoyed me the most was he did the weapon thing. I wasn't thinking about the whole Fears getting shot situation. I didn't even remember that until after the game and after that post when people were bringing it up. But you aren't allowed to celebrate with a weapon, or it's an automatic technical. So I was just pissed off at him for doing the weapon in general. And they went on a run after that. So if we lost, he was going to be in a bad way with our staff. But he's learned from it. He talked to Jeremy, I know, and he talked to Coach Izzo and apologized. So it's a learning moment. But the kid he's got a little cockiness to him. I think opposing fan bases are going to hate him, but he's a guy you love to have on your team.
He'll be like you in year 5, where everybody's
Exactly.
like, this guy's still there. Get him out.
And Frager, he's got the talent to go to the NBA early, I think. So I don't know if he'll be around as long as me, but if he does, that's certainly going to be a thing.
What about Rank's draft stock?
Yeah, that's an interesting one because his age, it tanks it a lot. But the way he's shooting the ball right now and the success we're having is going to help him so much. I'm not sure if he goes drafted or undrafted, but he's definitely going to get a chance, especially if we can keep winning games. That's what helps everyone in, pro endeavors. They look for guys that have won before. And with Rink leading us, being our best player, our engine, that's going to get him a shot. And I don't doubt anything Rink can do in the future.
I like to give him the pro comp of like a Nikola Jokic. Not saying that he's on that level at this point, but just the way that he plays, where he kind of makes you slow down to his game a little bit. Is that fair?
Yeah, I mean, he's just the typical European skilled big man that can pull it out and shoot and pass, and he's not going to overwhelm you with athleticism, but he's also so strong. And I don't think people talk about his touch around the rim enough. Like, his hook shots are nasty. He makes huge ones for us, like the and one last night. That was an ugly possession, but he just lobbed that thing up to the rim, got the and one, looked a little bit Jokic-like. And I can definitely see where he's coming from with the comp. And if he's able to guard in the NBA, I certainly think he's talented enough offensively to be an NBA player. And he's such a good teammate, such a good locker room guy that I could see him having a long career.
What's the national attention been like for you guys? Just because you haven't really had it in your last 4 years, and now you guys are 15-0, people are taking notice rapidly. I texted you a couple weeks ago after SVP had the highlights on SportsCenter, and he said, like, the mayor's got a squad in Lincoln this year. Like, it's even crazy for me to see people talking about you guys on that scale. What's it been like to be in the middle of?
Yeah, I mean, you try your best not to get too caught up in it. It's definitely cool, gaining lots of followers and stuff and getting the attention of people. I mean, I don't think majority of college basketball fans outside of the Big Ten knew who I even was probably before the season. And now I'm getting like Ryan Hammer, who's like an all college basketball guy, said I'm the glue guy of the year, which is pretty cool. And just getting that attention it's it's a nice thing that comes with it, but we are such a mature group that I don't think we care too much about it. We're not letting it get to our heads, and we're just going to keep grinding through because it doesn't mean anything unless you reach your goals, which we still have a long way to go.
I did also see a John Rothstein tweet that, and I don't, well, I'll knock on wood here, not to get in, in your guys' head or anything, but as of now, I think they have it as Nebraska with 100% chance of making the tournament. I think the tweet was there were 10,000 simulations run with different results throughout the rest of the season, and Nebraska made it every single time. How do you not, I guess, get centered on that where you're like, oh, we're in, but finishing the season to be a top 2 or 3 seed, which I saw a bracketology today has you as a 2 seed.
Yeah, that's a huge thing. Look at last year, we were on the bubble and we lose 5 games in a row to finish the season, and we completely lost our chance to make the tournament. We were an almost lock at one point last year, and we end up not making it. So you can't get ahead of yourself. But that being said, one of my goals this year was to not have to worry about the bubble. And the way we're playing right now, if we can just keep it up, keep protecting home court and stealing wins on the road, like that's not going to be an issue for us. You'd rather be worried about what seed you're going to get rather than where if you're going to make it or not. So it's pretty cool to see that we're at 100% chance right now, which there's such a long way to go that I don't get caught up in that at all. But you have to take it one game at a time, and you think about if we win this Indiana game, we're in an even better situation and just stuff like that. So that's really all it comes down to is just preparing the same way every single game, not getting comfortable. And I think we have enough guys that have been through it that we know how to handle that.
So I do want to look down the road at your guys' schedule in a second, but I've been seeing a lot of college basketball coaches talk about this over the last week or two. And I want to talk about it too. We've talked about the transfer portal and the eligibility and all that stuff, but there's really just no rules right now because so many teams have started adding like overseas guys right now at the semester. I was at home and I went to a Washington game. They were playing San Diego, and there was a guy for UW making his season debut from Serbia. And he's like spring enrolling. They're just enrolling in school now. And I know Illinois has 1 or 2 of those guys too. It's just insane to me that there's no rules. And gosh, who was it this week? It could have been Calipari. I think it was Coach Cal. And he was just going on a rant about, hey, someone tell us what the rules are so that we can follow. I don't know. Give me your take on it.
Yeah, I mean, it's so odd. And you think about the Baylor kid who got drafted and is now playing in college right now. It's just such an odd time, especially for coaches. I don't have to worry about it too much as a player, but like my dad said, he would not bring a player in at semester just because it's just so hard to get a guy to learn the system that fast to really help your team. And yeah, they don't know the rules. They don't know if they can go start recruiting people in the G League. Like it's agents reaching out to teams, and like that's how this stuff happens. And certain teams are taking advantage of it. Other coaches are completely against it. Like Tom Izzo, he went on a big rant about it. And there just has to be some sort of rule in place to stop just the randomness and basically giving teams advantages if they're getting reached out to. So it's really interesting. I don't have a whole lot of thoughts on it other than that, but it can definitely be annoying for a coach. I know that.
Well, yeah, and I see both sides of it too, because if you're, let's say, Illinois and you're bringing in guys at the semester, you're like, okay, like if we can do this, we're going to go do it and do everything that we can to win for the rest of the season. But then if you're, a coach like your dad or other coaches around the country that are like, one, it's not really fair to bring them in mid-season. They don't know the system. It's hard to implement them. And it doesn't seem super fair to the rest of college basketball. I get that too, because it's like, okay, like this is kind of BS. Like, let's push against it. But then if other teams are doing it and it's all within the bounds of eligibility, it's like, okay, how do we not try and keep up with these other teams?
Yeah, I mean, it's just such a confusing time, and it's just something coaches are gonna have to roll with right now and figure it out as we go until the NCAA steps up and makes some rules about it. But yeah, I mean, it's just such a different time right now. And I think the Illinois guy, like he's redshirting, the one that they got, but like the Baylor guy, so he got a dunk against TCU the other night. So it can definitely affect teams, and some coaches are going to take advantage of it. Some teams aren't going to be affected at all because they don't get reached out to and they don't realize they can recruit this guy. So that's just the way it is.
I feel like this point of your guys' schedule, the mid to late January, is not necessarily a lull, but a little bit of the softer part of your conference schedule leading into that Michigan game. You go and you kind of settle into that Saturday, Tuesday, Sunday, Wednesday, Big Ten schedule. So you go at Indiana, home for Oregon, at Northwestern, home for Washington, at Minnesota, at Michigan. It kind of has that circle around it at the end of the month at their place in Ann Arbor. But, you talk about having to go one game at a time, which of course makes sense. And in this case, it's Indiana on Saturday. You do get a little bit of a layoff, but what's that preparation look like? What do you know about Indiana?
Yeah, really good team. I know Rink's taking this game personal because DeVries was at Drake when he was at Bradley, and that was a huge rivalry. Two of the best teams in the Valley when he was there. So he's got this one circled for a long time. But they're, I mean, really well coached. Uh, Top 30 in net, I believe, in all metrics, around 30. So they're a really good team, and that place is really tough to win games in. So another game that you just have to have all hands on deck, and that's like every Big Ten game. You talk about kind of being a lull. There is no lulls in Big Ten play. Every game is tough. You can lose to literally anybody at any given game, and you have to be ready for that and prepare the same way for all these games. And you know, the mature group we have is going to help with that, but it's just keep grinding it out one game at a time, keep getting wins, and that Michigan game will come eventually, but right now we got to focus on these ones.
Yeah, and I mean Indiana's a great team, right? 11-3 overall, 2-1 in the conference. You guys, I think, yeah, the only 4-0 team in conference play. So you have that target on your back now. Teams are circling Nebraska on the calendar, which hasn't necessarily been the case over the last few seasons. What changes when you're competing against yourself at the top of the standings?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, you haven't been in this position being a highly ranked team before. So for me, nothing has really changed, to be honest. And I keep telling people, yes, we are the hunted. We're going to get everyone's best look because we're a top 10 team. We have that number by our name, but I don't think there's ever been a time when I think that the team I'm playing against in the Big Ten has not been ready to play or doesn't get excited to play against you, because this is Power Five college basketball. It's not often that you find teams not ready to go and not prepared. Um, and yeah, it might look a little bit different, and we'll find that out sooner or later. But the games just feel kind of the same to me at this point, and you just have to keep rolling with what we've been doing and what's made it.
You guys have been very successful. It's been super fun to watch. Now atop the Big Ten, teams like Michigan and Purdue and Michigan State, Illinois trailing you. What other teams in the Big Ten have you been able to watch, or other teams nationally? You're one of the top 10 of them now. So I think we can just talk about teams that you're looking to chase or that might be chasing you, which is a fun time of the year. What have you seen from other teams around your conference?
Iowa's really impressed me. I think they're like number 3 in Torvik for all of December. They've been really freaking good. They just put it on UCLA. So they're going to be a team that's going to be really tough. We play them twice. Those will be fun games. Uh, Obviously, really looking forward to the Michigan and Purdue games. We got Illinois again at home. So, I mean, those are the games that you really are looking forward to. But I'm just excited to play every single game. I just want to enjoy these last couple months of my career here. Left a lot on the line, and I'm going to put everything I got into the rest of the season so we can finish it off right. But it's been a fun year, and we're just going to keep it rolling game by game.
Yeah, and you mentioned, this kind of being, I don't know, a Last Dance-esque sort of thing for you, but really for the rest of your family too. I feel like this is such a special year for you guys, especially with your success playing for your dad and having your brother on staff, I guess it'll be the only year that all three of you are together with the Nebraska program. What's it been like for your family? I mean, this success has to be pretty special at this point now.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely the most fun I've had playing in college, and having Charlie around to celebrate and just help me with my game has been amazing. And I really think we try not to get too caught up in celebrating just halfway through the season, because things can turn on a dime, and you have to like stay locked in and everything. So I think really once the season's over is when we'll really appreciate this year in total. But it's been a ton of fun. Trying to live in the moment and enjoy it, but just winning games, that's what it's all about. And being able to do that with the family has been so cool.
One last thing really quick too. Do you have to take a class in the spring? You're a college graduate now. Do you have to do anything?
I have to take 9 credits. I'm in a broadcast performance class, which will be beneficial to me. And then I think I'm in self-defense class,
Nice.
CPR training, and I believe the other one is Instagram storytelling.
Wow.
Yeah.
You can help tell our story now that we're about to go viral. Sam Hoiberg's gonna take us to the moon. Everyone's gonna be watching the sports section.
I'm going to go crazy once I get through this Instagram storytelling class.
I mean, it's gonna take up pretty much all your time probably in the spring is what I'm
It's going
thinking.
to be brutal.
Sorry, Dad, can't go to practice. Gotta tell stories on the gram.
The Gram's going to look good, though. Just hit 10K, by the way, today.
Whoa!
Yeah. Shout out the sports section. That's the reason why.
I feel like when we started this and I looked at your page, it wasn't really close to that, was it?
No, I was probably at like 7,000,
Okay. So we'll get
6,000.
toss a few reposts for the new followers. Let them know what's going on over here on the sports section. We'll go to the moon.
Absolutely. We'll send her to the moon.
You got anything else did we not cover anything?
We didn't do our random basketball player segment, but I don't have any prepared, so we can get back to that next week.
Let's save some up. We'll cook some for next week, and maybe we'll have John on next week. Let him give a victory speech.
There we go. We can do the segment with him.
I love that. Let's give him some football players.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, that's good. Sweet. Well, the Huskers are 15-0. Number 10 team in the country. They play Indiana in Bloomington on Saturday. Anything else, Sammy?
Let's go get another one.
Let's go, baby. Just stay tuned on the social media. I'm not necessarily sure when the next episode will come out. Maybe Friday, Saturday, maybe Monday or Tuesday. We'll see. See how it goes. Me and Sam will be back on Tuesday because you guys play Saturday. We can record Sunday. So we'll be back on Tuesday at the latest. All right. This is the sports section. Subscribe, like, comment, all that good stuff. For Sam Hoiberg, I'm Matthew Mounsey. See you guys next time. Oh, God.